All right. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Oh, come on. Got that. You guys, let's hope. Right. Jacobs is 5 by 5. Good. At least one of us. Margaret. Oh, come on, guys. All right. Michelle sees me. That's good. Amish is 5 by 1. Okay, here we go. Be Charming, James, Krista Cat, Alex. All right, so far so good. So if you are wondering if you guys were one of the 20 or so people that saw me playing around yesterday, you guys know that we've had the craziness with YouTube not allowing us to do horizontal live streams from my phone, which is how I've done it for 4 years. And usually when I do the drawings, I'll flip my phone around so you guys can see my computer. Well, I can't do that anymore because otherwise we have vertical all the way. So I decided to try to play around with StreamYard and figure this thing out. I've used StreamYard a couple of times before, but never significantly. So I was playing around with it yesterday. And it was funny because I even went on the backup to the backup channel that I haven't posted, I think, one video ever on there. And still there were like 5 or 6 of you guys that popped in within a minute or two going, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Oh my God. So, and then I tested it out on this one. So far so good. As long as it looks like it's working. If I flip back over here to the main page, I can see I'm horizontal. So that's good. So we're there. So, all right. So that's why you see up in the upper right-hand corner, which is powered by StreamYard. The only time I'm going to use StreamYard is when we've got a drawing to do, which we have a drawing to do tonight. You'll see how that's going to work here in a few minutes when we get to it. So I hope you guys had a good Saturday afternoon here. For us around here, it was processing somewhere about 40 pounds of pears today. We are finally done with our food processing for the season. It was 8 pints of strawberry pear jam today. And I tried a different recipe, this one with cinnamon and nutmeg in it, and we really liked it. And so then I still had a bunch of pears left, and I decided, okay, or Mrs. P and I decided we are going to make pear wine. So, of course, that meant peeling and cutting all the pears, and probably took me about 3 hours to juice all the pears, steam juicer, right? And so I wound up getting just short of 3 gallons of pear juice. And so we put a little cinnamon and nutmeg in that. We're going to make pear wine that kind of tastes like pear jam. And the pear jam we made with the recipe, to me, it tastes like apple pie filling. I'm like, that wouldn't be a bad thing. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It's like, all right, now it's starting to sound like moonshine. But that was it. So half an hour ago here, just before we finally finished the day, I finally just got to pitch my yeast in the carboy to make the wine. So that was it. But that should be the last one. But now it'll just sit here and do its thing for about a month. Bottled my blueberry wine earlier this week. That came out fabulous. It's probably, like I said to Mrs. P when we tasted this, that's probably the best one I've ever made. So that one was really good. But nope, tonight I'm going to have a little grape wine. So I think we made 6 different wine. What do we make this for? We made grape, peach, muscadine, plum, strawberry, and pear wines. So yeah. But yeah, so that was it. But it's like, what do you do with all the fruit when you start getting it? I mean, we've got, I think Mrs. P went through and looked at, we got like 40 pints of jam, which is hilarious on our diet. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this jam today. It's like, okay, 3 3/4 quarts of sugar for this recipe. I was like, holy crap. And then of course I'm making the wine. It's 12 cups of sugar. It's like, we're going through sugar like crazy. But it's like, all right. And I said to her, I said, what are we going to do with all this fruit next year? I said, because we're still going to have a bunch of wine. I said, we're going to wind up making pie filling or something. Who knows? Because the vegetables come in, you're canning up those, the fruits come in. It's like, okay, then you start going, where am I going to put all this stuff? We can't eat some of the stuff as fast as we make it. Though I will use some of the jam to make kolachki for Christmas. If you guys have been around long enough, those are traditional Czech Christmas cookies. But for me, they're Christmas cookies because they take forever to make. So, but I always make those every Christmas. So that was it. But yeah, we'll be happily tipsy during SHT. There you go. I caught that one real quick. Other than that, if you saw, Donald Trump now officially, according to the Real Clear Politics polls, leads by 0.1% in the popular vote. Doesn't mean we get complacent. This is the thing. And I kind of touched a little bit on it at lunch today. We don't know if it's the media that's playing a game with us. Oh, let's make them think they're winning and then they won't bother going to the polls. Okay. I don't trust the media as far as I can piss into a tornado. So, it wouldn't surprise me if the numbers are way skewed one way, way skewed the other way, because it's all manipulation. You guys know that. So, but like I said today, we've got nearly 20% of the registered voters in the country has already voted, and that was as of Thursday. So, now we're going to see a first Saturday. Today ought to be good. But crossing fingers. Yeah, you guys got a kick out of Kamala Harris down in Houston yesterday and how pissed off all the people were there that they came for a free Beyonce concert and she didn't sing. And so the Democrats are going ballistic on social media today, pissed off. Trump was up at Penn State today, packed house as per normal. It's going to be interesting when they start calling the numbers and go, he's won Gen Z. And, that's where it's going to get real interesting. It's like, the cat lady vote only gets you so far. I don't know, but I'm hoping to see, crazy stuff like Virginia flip red, Minnesota flip red, New Mexico flip red. I want to see a mandate, but I want to see 100 million votes in Trump's column too. We'll see what. Yeah, as Norbert Mueller said, who's counting the votes. Yeah, that's always the important part. So, some Pennsylvania country girl says Trump must take Pennsylvania. Yes, the two most important states to me are Pennsylvania and Georgia. If Trump wins those, it's over. I don't care what happens west of Mississippi, because at that point he's already at 280, and so he's over 270 at that point. But I still love how they're calling North Carolina a swing state. No, North Carolina will stay red. There's no question there. It's like Harris thinking that she's going to flip Texas blue. Got it. That's going to happen. So, all right, enough of that, and let's get into the drawing tonight. God knows we haven't done a Saturday live stream in 3 weeks, between the devastation we had, in Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, whole 9 yards, Florida. That kind of whacked me for a while, and just the exhaustion trying to get caught up. I looked at this tonight. I said to Mrs. P, I said, holy crap. I said, I haven't done a Saturday live stream since the 5th of October. So, yeah, here we are. So, okay, get that going. But, so we missed a couple of weeks, but we are back. So tonight we are going to give away the Beaujard 53 quart, 50 liter refrigerator freezer that I showed you guys at lunch. If you paid attention to the video, okay, and again, you know how I do these things, you had to make a comment under this morning's video or late morning's video. Your comment has to include the state in which you live in, the lower 48, and somewhere in there has to be the letter V, as in victory. Okay. or is it JD Vance? I don't care, Velociraptor, whatever you want to put in here. Somewhere there's got to be a V. Those are the only ways it's going to be a valid entry. We will go through the random comment picker, crossing my fingers that it works, okay, here on StreamYard. And then whoever's name I draw, provided it's a valid entry, will have 3 minutes to reply in the live chat here that they are here. It's must be present to win. Those of you guys been around long enough know we've had many times where name drawn, the person isn't here. Okay. As I also said in today's video, your name in the chat room has to match the name that was in the comment section. Okay. So don't tell me, oh, that's me, because there's always people come up and say that's me. I'm not looking it up. If John Smith doesn't match John Smith, I'm looking it up. Okay. Sorry. Told you guys today to check that, fix it. The rule that we've had for well over a year at this point on these things. When we go over to this and I tell you guys no more comments, and the moderators will put in the chat room, no more comments, that is not a suggestion, that is mandatory. If you make a comment after all that is said, you get tossed from the live stream, you have no chance of winning, and you get to come back in a week when you can chat again. That's just how it goes. There's, I don't even know how many in here, 2,395 people in here. The moderators don't know. I don't know who the winner is. We're trying to find that one person. Okay? You guys all know how fast the chat goes. I do not want to miss somebody saying that they're the winner and they're here because everybody else is talking. Those are the rules. They're non-negotiable. My house, my rules. Pretty much that. Okay? Got it? Made it clear? I hope. We'll still have somebody that'll screw up. All right. Let's pray to God this works. And if I go... Wait a minute. Okay, hang on. No, it wasn't that. I did this yesterday. Now, why is it arguing with me? It's not a video file. No. It allowed me to do this yesterday. It's not an extra camera. No. It's not slides. So why? I had this working yesterday. Let's see if I can do it. Does that work? There we go. Okay. Share. Now. Tell me you guys can see that. Let me go back over here and look. Yes. Okay. I can see it on the screen. Good. All right. So I'm going to, bear with me because I'm still trying to figure this one out. Okay. So there is yesterday's or this morning's link. We're going to go to fetch. We do not include replies. You guys know that. Everybody had to have a primary comment. We do not allow duplicates. All right. And so we will see how many we get. At this point, guys, no more comments. All right. Everybody, no commenting. Because we're going to pull the winner here as soon as I can get this going. All right. There we go. I see Cat Lady said it. Motimer said it. Bass Ackwards said it. No more comments. No more comments. You guys got it. All right. We have 1,867 entries. Wow, that's kind of low. All right. Considering Jacob has said no more comments. I don't want to see any more comments. So Mods, if they're commenting after Jacob's comment there, gone. Like Tommy 2x4, have a nice week. LG, I don't know who you are. You're not a moderator. New Jersey Prepper, have a nice week. You guys can all get goodbyes. All right. Make sure those guys were all AMPS grade. All right. So let's see who our potential winner is. We have Casey Emery. Thanks, Mr. and Mrs. P and Elliot, for the opportunity again in Washington State. We would love to vanquish the idiot Dems and wokesters, but we're doing our part to vote them out. Thanks again. Casey Emery, that is a valid entry. So now we need to find Casey Emery in here, guys. So it is 9:15. So Casey Emery, you have until 9:18 to say you are here. So we are looking for Casey Emery. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Lady Luger, have a nice week. Casey Emery, 1 minute has passed. You have 2 more minutes. Otherwise, we draw again. There he is, or she is. Casey Emery is here. All right, good deal. Congratulations. I need you to email me. My email is under the video. It's pinballpreparedness at mail2world.com. I need you to email me your physical address, no post office box, and your phone number and your name, obviously. And I will get those over to Elliot, and we will get this shipped out to you. Elliot's usually pretty good about getting this out middle of the week. So depending on where you are, FedEx, well, you said you were in Washington State, so it might take a little longer because I believe everything comes from New York. So get that over to me. I will get it to Elliot, and they will get it shipped out by the beginning of, by election day, you should have this. Let's put it this way. So, all right. And that gets through with that. So let's get out of some of this stuff. And we got that closed down, and we should be back to a normal screen, and it looks normal to me. Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Now let me get myself reorganized here so I can see what we'll do. We'll get into normal programming. All right. So we will get into Q&A. And as most of you guys know, if you've got questions for me, please put them in all caps. That way it just makes it a whole lot easier for me to see the questions that are directed at me and makes the live stream move a lot faster. If you guys want to have conversations amongst yourselves, please do. Just keep it in lowercase. That way I don't have to jump back and forth. The only requirement is, of course, and this has never changed, please treat each other with respect in here. Okay. Disagreement is totally fine. No problems whatsoever with that. But don't start with you're an a-hole or something like that. That goes for me. That goes for anybody in the chat. If you don't want to be spoken to that way, don't speak to anybody else that way. There is no second coming back. That's just goodbye. You're gone from the channel permanently. There aren't any second chances, and as you guys well know, I've had moderators that we've tossed out of here because of that. So that goes for everybody. All right, let's go up here. There's a bunch of congratulations. Let's see what's on your mind. Mainly Maximus. Don't know if you use Pomano's pectin, but you can make jam and jelly with almost no sugar. Hope this helps. I use Sure Gel. I've always used Sure Gel. So just it is what it is. That's it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's pretty much. I've never even heard of Pomano's pectin. So Uh, Half bubble off plum. How's the weight loss going on carnivore for you and Mrs. P? I am bouncing right at the 280 level. I'll be at 278. I'll be at 281 thereabouts. So I finally broke that mid 280s hurdle that I was at. I've cracked into the 270s a couple of times, but I got to get below there. I still got to get down to 250, but uh, it's coming. It's still the same diet. I mean, Mrs. P's like, we eat the same thing. It's like, yep, it's like a roast, chuck roast because it's good and fatty, or fatty pork chops, or ground beef, or chicken thighs. I mean, that's literally our diet, and it has been since February. So, uh, okay. Susan Musser, what prep should we be concentrating on before the election? Uh, the biggest one I would say is security. And again, this depends on where you live. All right. If you live in the middle of Oklahoma, deep red Oklahoma, out in the country somewhere, you're probably pretty okay. You live in Atlanta or you live in Chicago, it's going to be crazy. Uh, I would work on security devices, whether they are the handheld kind, if you know what I mean, or the motion sensor lights, the cameras, as I've said before, a thing to get if you don't have a dog is get yourself one of those little Bluetooth speakers and go download the sound of a Doberman barking or something and put it right by your door. Because you can, from your phone somewhere, hit a button to play it, and all of a sudden there's dogs barking in the house. I mean, it's little things like that, guys. But if there's anything, I'm still not going anywhere next Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. Not leaving the house at all because, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this story, Knoxville. Okay. This was a few days ago. We had a 15-year-old kid kill a 13-year-old girl with a pocket knife and tried to decapitate her with it. That's how crazy it is out there. You've got young teenagers doing stuff like this. What do you think the unhinged loony left is going to do when Kamala Harris gets her ass stomped in a few days? And I didn't see it in time, so now I'm going to have to go try to find it. Crap. It's not going to show it to me. All right. Well, there it is. Inigo Montoya, thank you for the super chat. Which wins in a battle to the death, a gorilla, grizzly bear, or lion? Grizzly bear all day long. That's an easy one. Okay. Let's see. Beautiful day. Do I know what is happening across the U.S. with no clouds, or I'm assuming that's chemtrails, or even electric plants, plums? I have no idea what you mean there. Since October 10th, 2024. I don't know where you're getting no clouds because it rained today. The chemtrails, we still see them here occasionally, even though Tennessee has outlawed them. And I've got no idea what you're talking about with electric plants, plums. So, sorry, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Linda Giamarino, try it. Sorry if I butchered it. Best solar generator you recommend? I know you did video. Name the video to view. I can't answer. There's way too many variables for that question. Okay. What are you trying to run is the first one. Okay. There's a big difference if you want to do a whole house system, if you're just trying to run your refrigerator and freezer, if you want to run some lights, if you just need it to run a CPAP. There isn't a one size fits all generator. Okay. There's a whole homework you got to do first. I want to run this. Let's say you want to run your refrigerator. Okay. What's the wattage? What's the surge of the refrigerator. You have to know that, otherwise you can't pick a generator. There is a quote unquote best. Next, I'm in East Tennessee. I'll buy some of your wine if you can. I'm not, don't have enough to sell. That's the point. Lefty 825. How is PBJ doing? I talked to her a couple of days ago. After, I think I told you guys last time, after midterms, there were about half the class failed failed the midterm in one of their classes. Now, mind you, this you have to pass every class. If you have to get at least a 70 in every class, and you have to have an average of 80 across all the classes, otherwise you fail. Half the class failed one of the courses midterms. So there's a whole lot of people that are freaking out. Fortunately, PBJ got her two lowest grades on two midterms were 74 and 75. So she was still above the 70 threshold, which was good. And then she said she got 90s on the tests now, but she's still sweating like a lot of people are, because when finals come up, that's going to make a whole lot of difference. She's one of those people. Like last semester, she goes, Dad, as long as I get a 30 on the final, I'm good. When she's going, okay, Dad, I got to get at least a 72 on the final, that stresses her out. Badger Tom, did I ever tell people about dual wiring their house with 12 volts? No, I have not. Not something I've done. And it's not something that I would even be remotely qualified to tell anybody how to do. So I stay in my lane. Let's put it this way. I'm not going to tell people how to breed goats or something. I don't know how to do that. I don't do that. I'm not one of these people who pretends to know everything. I don't. Okay. And when it comes to electrician's work, I hire an electrician. Okay. I'm not playing with, I'll replace an outlet or a light switch or something like that, or fuses or whatever, or breakers. That's not a big deal. But, I'm not going to go rewiring a house. I'm not going to get, even when I set up my solar system, I still had an electrician come in and hook up the whole box, wiring it to my breakers and stuff like that. And it took them a long time to figure it out too. Old Biscuit 54. It's a good question. I wish I had an answer. What is the black MAGA cap about? What is dark MAGA? I don't know. I guess Elon Musk was the first one that wore the black Make America Great hat. I don't know what dark MAGA is. It's got to have some sort of reference to some superhero movie or something. It's the only thing, but I got no idea what it means. Just Smile. Thanks for suggesting early voting. I did. Line was mostly folks talking conservative, which is going to be, and this is where I say, everybody, don't get your hopes up. Okay. We still got to get out there, because historically, Democrats are the ones that vote early. I think in 2020, now granted it was COVID, something like 60% of the Democrats voted early. Republicans have a tendency to vote on election day. So while it's all fine and dandy, we're going and voting early. If it's taking away from the people that would vote on election day, that doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Now, granted, all of us voting early is good. Something happens in the next 9 days, you've already got your vote cast, you're good. But all these people, the early voting, look how good this is great news. It doesn't mean squat. What the difference is, if the early voters are the ones that are non-prolific voters, it's like, well, I haven't voted since 2012. I don't normally vote. If those are the ones coming out, that's good. If it's just people that vote normally on election day and now they're voting early, that doesn't change the game. So. Emma Bryan, do I have a video for the strawberry wine? I did a video 2 years ago. I think it was called Dust on the Bottle, and I showed you guys how to make a very simple wine. Matter of fact, it's the one I'm drinking right here. Okay. And then I believe somewhere I think it was this year. I think it was this spring. It might even have been the strawberry wine. I showed you how to make it out of fruits that you grow. It's not difficult. Basically, I use a steam juicer. I juice the fruit, whatever it is, get the juice, and then it is a 50-50 mix of fruit juice and distilled, purified, bottled water. Okay. So if you get 4 quarts of juice, you put 4 quarts of water in there, and then 3 cups of sugar per quart of water that you're adding in. So if you got 4 quarts of juice, 4 quarts of water, you'd have 12 cups of sugar. Melt the sugar in the water, mix it all together, add your yeast, then move into the clarification, and if you want to condition your wine or do whatever, then you start getting into more stuff. But I mean, just to make the basics, that's all it is. But yeah, there's a video there somewhere. The original one, it's the same recipe as the one making it fruit. You just got to juice your own fruit. Kevin Little, early voting here, CNY. I'm guessing that's Central New York. Opened at 9 a.m. There was a line a block long at 8:30 when I got there. It was 3 times longer when I left. It was great. Again, it is depending on who they're voting for. I've got a tendency to believe that this is looking good for Trump. Okay. But as somebody said earlier, it all matters on who counts the votes. And we've already seen stories of criminal activity, fraud going on. And I'm not saying it's the campaigns doing it, but there's enough morons out there who are like, well, you know what? I can go steal these ballots. Was it somebody threw firecrackers or whatever into a mailbox to burn up the ballots in there? It's just, there's stupid people out there again. Charles Goki, thank you for the super chat. Toward the Christmas giveaways. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're getting into that soon. What do you think Kamala Harris will do after the election? Well, she'll probably. My guess is she's probably going to try to run for governor of California once Gavin Newsom is term limited out. But she'll probably go back into law practice somewhere. You know, at this point, you figure her political career is over. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of people that, after they lost their bid for presidency, staying in politics. I mean, John McCain kept his Senate seat, and Mitt Romney wound up running for the Senate. But, you know, you look at the rest of them, you know, John Kerry wound up a climate czar, you know, I mean, basically a made up bullshit job. Al Gore, you know, just runs around running his mouth. I mean, you know, you ever hear of Dan Quayle again? You know, none of these people ever go there. Kamala Harris will hopefully fade off into the sunset somewhere. We'll never hear about her again. Teresa Rabone, long-term seed saving. What type do I use? No idea what your question is. What do I use? What type of seeds do I use? I don't understand what you're asking. Red Bimmer, I was without power for 19 days. Thank you so much for the AFRI deal. It saved me. Can I use a 350 watt inverter to charge it from a car battery? I do not know. I think we try to pull down 1100 watts an inverter would shut down. I do not know if you could do something like that. That's over my head. Missy Royer, did I figure out anything on my mystery package? If you're talking about the shirt that somebody sent me, no, I have no clue. Nobody is fessed up to that one. It's a cool shirt. It's a very comfortable one, too. If you guys didn't see it, somebody thought it was actually a pentagram on my chest, which was funny. The Tennessee state symbol, the state flag, if you look it up, is a circle with 3 stars in it. Okay? And so that was what was on the chest right here. And then on the tail of the shirt, it says, "Come hell and high water," there's Hurricane Helene Relief 2024 on the back. It was a cool shirt. I don't know who sent it to me, but whoever did, I thank them, but it's still a mystery. Susan M, 1224. Are you still planning to have the Christmas fundraising this year? If so, do you have a date picked? I'd like to help deliver and need to ask off from work. Thank you. I've got to get with the food bank. The food bank is the big catch because they only are there 2 days a month. It's every other Monday. And so I've got to get with them to figure out when it is. And then usually we go the Sunday, the day before. I'm going to be, it's, I still got to figure out what's going to happen with this year. Uh, but usually we start doing that mid-November, stuff like that. So yeah, I guess I got a couple of weeks to make a couple of phone calls. I need to get through the election first. That's it. Plan on doing something. I just don't know what yet. John Hasty, Pinball, would you use the same pickling brine for pickles that you would for beets? No, absolutely different. You know how you're using like pickling spices and stuff like that for pickles? When you're pickling beets, literally it's sugar and vinegar. That's it. Okay. You start putting all those pickling spices and stuff like that, you're nasty tasting beets. Chief Redbird. Anyone else have no luck growing vegetables this season? No matter what I've done, nothing grows. 5 years now, this was the worst by far. No, I have certain things that suck every year. I mean, this year was terrible for us for cucumbers. Uh, I think I tried to grow cucumbers in the same spot a couple of times. I think it's just a bad spot for cucumbers. Uh, when I was in a different spot a couple of years ago, we had a bumper crop. Last year I had, was it last year or 2 years ago? Last year or 2 years ago, I had crap with sweet potatoes. Uh, I I didn't have. I mean, I always have something that fails every year. My broccoli was pathetic this year, uh, but I always have something that fails every year, but not my entire garden. I don't know. Morgan Harris, I'm putting up the winter wood. Are there any concerns with putting the through a wood chipper and big time? If you're going to take the bark, what I do more than that, I get through a chipper, but then I throw it in the compost pile. Because here's the issue: the bark is still a carbon source. And so, what if you till it into the garden? What it's going to do is it's going to tie up all the nitrogen in your garden that the plants are trying to get to grow. The bark will decompose a lot faster than the wood will. Throw it in the compost pile, now, and if you have a good moist winter, by spring, that should be good, soft, pliable mush, good compost. I compost it now, and hopefully you're somewhere up north because you're cutting wood for it. I'm guessing you're in a colder area, maybe you get the snow, and just let it rot over the winter. That would be my bet. If we got a whole bunch of it, even better, because you guys know to do a good compost pile. It's got to be a yard by a yard by a yard minimum. Otherwise, you're not going to get to compost. Lori Curtis, what kind of steam juicer do I have that I use for the pears? It's the same one I use for everything. It's literally 3 pans that stack on top of each other. One is the water trough on the bottom. You fill that with water. The second one is the catch pan, if you will, got the hose coming out of it. And the top one is the colander where you put all your fruit in, whatever it would be. I bought it on Amazon. I don't know what brand it is or anything like that. It works fine. I think it probably cost me about $100. Country Humans Network. What's the difference between keto and the carnivore diet? How do you pick out what's good to eat when you go out? I stopped Diet Coke. We drink and only to drink and lost 10 pounds. Okay, difference between keto and carnivore. Carnivore is exactly what it says. It's strictly meat. Keto is basically a no carb diet. So like Mrs. P's on a lot more of the keto. She still gets me. I can't turn it. I love vegetables. I can't turn it down all the time. It's like tonight we had pot roast. I had mushrooms with it. Okay. But she'll have her cucumbers or tomato or something. She's doing more of the keto. It's still the low carb or no carb uh, vegetables. Like I can have lettuce, I can have cabbage. Uh, she can eat pretty much any of them. But where my diet is pretty much zero carb, hers is like keto is like you can have up to like 20 carbs a day. How do you pick out what's good to eat when you go out? Yeah, that's difficult. Uh, Usually, when we wind up going somewhere, I will get steak or I will get chicken or something. But it's like you go. We went to an Italian restaurant with friends. Oh God, what 2 months ago or whatever, and everybody's there having garlic bread and pasta and ravioli and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, and you go to an Italian restaurant. I mean, it's not fancy or anything like that. You get a steak, and it's like that's not a steak. But yeah, and the waitress thought I was nuts when I'm like, "Can I get like 6 things of butter?" She's like, "Huh?" I'm like, yeah, so 'cause I need the fats. So, yeah, I know you're talking about drinking Diet Coke, and here I am having a glass of wine, and I told you how much sugar's in it. But really, once in a blue moon, that's the other thing. It's like uh, glass of wine. I mean, if I have a glass of wine a month, that's a lot. I mean, I hardly ever have a beer anymore or anything like that because there's just too many carbs in it. Enchanted Scrapper. Do I think shit'll hit the fan on election day or the day after? One of the two. And I've said this, and I could be wrong. Okay, but I'd rather, again, it's one of those things. We always say I'd rather have it, and not need it, than need it and not have it. Okay, same thing with this. I'd rather be ready for chaos to break loose and it not happen than not be ready for it to happen and it does. Uh, I don't think it matters who wins. I think if Donald Trump wins, the loony left goes absolutely batshit crazy and starts burning down cities. I think if Kamala Harris wins, that you have chaos on the other side with the cheat is on. Uh, how violent it gets, I don't know, but I'm not interested in finding out. Yarn Prepper, Pinball, we have the most amazing patch of 4 o'clocks from my seeds. We'll be saving have them. We will have them forever from our seed saving. Thank you. You're most welcome. Good. Glad you got those. Got more flower seeds than I know what to do with. American woman, safer at home in a town of 2,000 or mountain land. No trees, well, in a camper, 5 kids at home. If you're in a town of 2,000, I think you're pretty safe because when you're in a town that size, you probably know 10%, 20% of the people in town, and everybody knows everybody. So, you know, how do I want to put this? In a small town like that, I mean, Christ, somebody gets drunk and falls off a bicycle on a Friday night. By Saturday morning, everybody in town knows about it, right? If that's the kind of town it is, I'd stay home, especially when you got 5 kids and one's a diabetic. If the 2,000 people are all blue-haired Looney Tunes, I'd go up to the mountains. But when I say blue-haired Looney Tunes, that's not a hit on old ladies, if you will. I'm talking about people whose hair is literally blue. You know. Joe Shinpaw, how do your look on? Okay, spell check. The question makes no sense. Sword 5000. How long can you freeze bread for if you wrap in paper towels and freezer bag? How long can I freeze meat vacuum sealed? I can't tell you on bread uh, because, first off, we're not eating it on the diet. And second off, when we do eat bread, we just make it at home and then we eat whatever we make. And when we want more, we make another loaf. Uh, we've got yeast and flour and salt and baking soda and everything. So if we want to make bread, I got it. How long can you freeze meat vacuum sealed? I don't want to say indefinitely, but don't listen to these people who say, "Oh, you can't do it for more than 6 months." I mean, what was it last year for Thanksgiving? We ate a turkey that had been in our freezer for 2 years. It was fine. It was no big deal. I mean, I keep the when we and again I'm going to get one in February. You know, when we buy our beef, I buy a cow, and it lasts us about a year and a half. All cuts of meat are vacuum sealed. They're still out, in my freezer. We've had it now for over a year. It's still fine. As long as it's not frozen, thawed out, frozen, then you got the problem. As long as it's frozen solid, I'd say you're good for a few years. Whoops, shut the bottom. Hang on. CT87GN, gold, silver, or both? Uh, right now, if I've got to pick where to put it, right now I'm buying silver. Uh, I'd be waiting on a pullback on gold. Doesn't mean that gold's not going to keep going up, or I mean, both are good. But if you put a gun to my head right now and says you got to buy one or the other today, I'm buying silver right now. Uh, Emma Miller, do I have any knowledge about the rapid radio? No, I do not. Mallory Fake, please explain again water and SHTF. Get something like the Berkey or comparable models. Can pour dirty pond water through that? Yes, but okay. Uh, here's got to remember, you need filters for it. Now it'll filter, but the dirtier the water you put it through or put through the system, the faster those filters are going to be useless. You know, if you put, I don't know, this and try to strain it out to get to water, you're going to go through that filter real fast. If it's you're putting through your tap water right now and straining out any of the solids in it, for example, it's going to last a lot longer. So yeah, it'll work, but you got to make sure you have plenty of filters. I mean, like the Idaho I showed you, I think it recommends that you change the filter with the RO filter and the charcoal filter. I think one is every 400 gallons and one is every 600 gallons. Okay. That's on relatively clean water, roughly once every month and a half, depending on how many people are in the house. Off Grid Living. I started a book today called Nefarious Plot. I thought provoking book. Our country is in trouble. What is it, like the Encyclopedia Britannica? I mean, if you can fit why our country is in trouble into one book, somebody, that's yeah. Rick's Corner. Hi, Pinball. Went to see my nephew in Traverse City yesterday, not knowing Trump was going to be there. So I'm not going to double bonus. Was he Travis? Was he in Traverse City? Okay, I thought he was in Battle Creek. Okay, but all right, cool. Got the traffic to go with it probably too. Uh, Brian B 2416. Did I get to meet Turtle Man in Newport? Yes, I did for about 5 minutes. I was there. What day was that? That was the day where what came in the morning? Was that the day the food truck delivered? I think it was the day that Food City was there with the food. And then I had to go, after that was done, then I had to go meet with Dina to pick up to guide them in to bring the baby formula in. And of course, they had a flat tire away and yada, yada, yada. So they got delayed. And I was sick as a dog. I mean, you guys remember how I was under the weather after all that. And so I had gone back to the warehouse and met with Diane and met with Sarah and asked them if they could take over for me because I mean I already been going for 10 or 11 hours that day, and I just need to get home and get to bed. And so Diane said she'd meet up with Dina, and Patera was there with Turtle Man. So I got to meet him for about 5 minutes, but that was it. Diane C. I'm new. Does Mrs. P ever do videos with you? Learned about you. Mrs. P is camera shy. She has done some. If you go onto the homepage, you will see the playlists, and there's one playlist that's primarily her. It's called Cooking with Mrs. P, and it's a lot of her Russian recipes that she's shown you guys how to make. There's other recipes in there I've shown you from the old country. There's recipes I've shown you in there how to make out of your preps. Every once in a blue moon, she will make a cameo appearance in one of the videos, but most of the time she's just camera shy. Von Mousetrap, where can I get a job making six figures sitting on a beach like the current potato asking for a friend? Hey, change your party affiliation to Democrat and run for president. You don't need any qualifications. You don't have to have any accomplishments. You've never had to do anything in your life. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go find Willie Brown. Try to keep it clean. Maybe that'll help. I don't know, but yeah, you may make a lot more than six figures too. I mean, you have a six-figure salary, but seven figures in corruption, and grift. Making it home. Hello, Pinball. We get a lot out of your content. Keep fighting the good fight. I'm trying. I'll keep doing it until the powers that be, Kamala Harris get elected. We have to censor free speech, and I'll be done. But the funny thing is, I've had people ask me, it's like, oh, what are you going to do if Trump wins the election? Like, what do you mean? What am I going to do? I'll keep doing what I do. Like, well, you bash on the Democrats all the time. Yeah, because they're idiots. Trump does something stupid, I will call him out on it. Don't forget, you're still going to have Democrats in the Senate, Democrats in the House. Don't worry. Okay. There's plenty of stupid in Washington out of both parties. I'll be fine. What do you think? All of a sudden, I'm going to become a Mike Johnson or Mitch McConnell? That's not going to happen. Old Biscuit 54. My advice: do your banking business now. Do your online scheduling for your payments for your. Okay. I have seen stories about uh, about senior bank employees saying that the next step is it's going to be hard to get your money out of the bank. Okay, which means you start talking about these bail-ins again. You guys know my stance on that: 6 months worth of cash, 6 months worth of bills in cash in your house. And I know people say that's crazy. It's crazy until all of a sudden the bank says we're not letting you take out more than $20 a day. or I'm sorry, we just went out of business. And FDIC will pay you off in 99 years. And you're going, but I got to pay my car payment or my mortgage, or we need groceries. Then you'll be happy. Amy Arsenault, is anyone getting a shuttle bus for the people who have no transportation to go vote in the areas hit hard? From everything I've heard, that the states have done a good job of getting polling places out there for these people to vote, and the communities have got in. Uh, I forget what the county is that's just north of Asheville. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. They actually have higher voter turnout early voting this year than they did in 2020. So I don't think it's turned out to be any sort of problem. David Haley, it was earlier this spring when you explained homemade wine from your fruits. Okay, good, thank you. Making it home. Early voting in our county in rural Arkansas is record breaking, according to poll workers. This is the same thing I told you about here when Mrs. P and I went to vote. It was the second day they were open. The lady told me last year, she goes, we get 15 people a day. She goes, we have 15 people in the first half an hour. Like, okay, that sounds good. Moving on down the list. She could work at McDonald's. Yeah, that's first. Fake cable, 5 boxes of ballots found outside in North Carolina. That wouldn't surprise me. Wanda Anthony says, sometimes my voice is garbled tonight. I don't know. Maybe that's technology. Maybe it's just my voice is garbled. I mean, I did do 3 videos today. And this. I've been talking a lot. Noodlehead. Hi, Pinball and Mrs. P from Kentucky. Hope you guys are doing the best. I'm just happy that canning season's over. David Haley lived in California for 43 years, left when she became the attorney general. If she runs for anything in California, everyone that's left needs to run. Give California, no, I don't know, 2 more election cycles. Everybody there will speak Spanish. Nobody will work. There won't be, everybody will be illegal, and that'll be it. So, California is a dying state, which is sad. Veronica Walker, Texas weather confused my tomatoes. Have a full crop of full-size paste tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. Yeah, this time of year, that's kind of weird. I guess you're making spaghetti sauce. Happy Canner, do you know if anyone has had trouble with Idaho customer service? Sent several emails about a missing item in my order. No response. Send me a copy of those emails. I will go to Alex and see what he can do for us. Cows are my therapy. That's a good name. Best place to buy silver online. Okay. You'll get raped in the local coin shops for the most part. If you shop around, the best places that I find online are SD Bullion, JM Bullion. JM Bullion gives a military discount. If you there, or AppMax, BGASC is good too. But compare prices, because while the price of silver is constant, the premiums they charge and the deals, the sales, or whatever they have are different. And I mean, I can find the same thing. A lot of what I buy in silver is buffaloes. And I mean, I'll look, and sometimes they are $1 different between the 2 websites. That's it. I mean, that's 3% at current prices. It was 5% here 6 months ago. So yeah, you got to take a look at that. But those are the 4 that I would say. But, and I'm not saying all coin dealers, but you got to remember, the coin dealers are buying from SD Bullion, JM Bullion, or whatever. They're paying that markup, and then they've got to put it in their store, and they've got to add another markup to it. Avoid the middleman and just go straight to the wholesaler. One more. Missy Royer, question I was referring to the message you received that you could. Okay, no idea. Mr. T, a hydroponic fan and carbon filter is about $80, draws 30 watts per hour. moves 180 cubic meters per hour filtered NBC level air for disasters or fallout. Okay, there's no question in there. We're still CT87GN for barter currency. Do I recommend silver coins and 1 ounce silver bullion coins? Yes. And again, when you're saying silver coins, constitutional silver, 1964 and earlier, dimes, quarters, half dollars. Remember, nickels aren't 90% silver. And then 1 ounce silver rounds. I'm not a fan of buying the Eagles or the Walking Liberties or anything like that. You're paying a premium for numismatic value, and preppers are looking for silver content. So I don't care about the Eagles or Maple Leafs or anything like that. I want the silver content. That's just me. I know other people disagree. Yes, my opinion. That's my opinion. All right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. Have a good evening. I'm going to bed. We'll see you tomorrow.